to do the rest of the work. Now, as you can see here, this null object, it doesn't quite line up with the face. So what I'm going to do is go down to right cheek 3, which is what this null object is called, and select position. And as you can see, it's highlighted all of the keyframes. Then I'm going to choose the selection tool and just drag it into position. That moves all of the keyframes and everything, and using this you can match a facial structure that is quite dissimilar from your own, like the rock face, for example. We'll use that extensively later. So there we go, we've applied all of the motion data to all of our puppet pin points. So let's see how it looks. So obviously you'll notice that the eyes look weird and also the mouth. So what we're going to do is apply a matte to the image. Now, I have already pre-made these whilst you weren't looking, so I'll just enable them so you can see what to aim for. So, as you can see, we've just cut out a hole out of male average, which was our composition, and it has resulted in the video of me being visible behind it. Now, as you can see, there is a considerable difference in skin tone, shading and lightness. So what we're going to do is colour correct our male average composition to match my skin. To me it looks like the male average has a redder skin tone due to lighting or whatever. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to colour correction, curves, and then we'll select red. We'll decrease the brightness. No, we'll select green actually, and increase the brightness of green. And then go to blue. Do the same. So what we want to aim for is a bit of a yellower tint to the skin tone. That looks about right, tone wise. What else we need to do is go to Effect, Colour Correction, Exposure. Increase the exposure. So it's about equal. Right, that looks pretty good. I'll go with that. So we've also got a slightly different lighting. This eye seems a bit too dark, and this one perhaps a little bit too light. So we're going to duplicate the source footage twice and choose this rectangle tool, which we'll use to make a matte on every eye, and we'll do the same with the lips. So now we can adjust them individually. We'll go to Effect, Colour Correction, Exposure. There we go, that's better. And the lips are a bit too bright, I think, so we'll go to Effect, again, Colour Correction, Exposure, and just make them a tiny bit darker. So let's see how it looks.
This is a sample file for AECut's tutorial on how to do facial motion capture within After.
Well, that looks alright. One thing I just noticed is that down there the lips hit the bottom of the mat, so we'll just Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is drag our whole composition and make a new one. And we'll go Effect, Color Correction, Levels. What I want to do is just decrease the gamma. Go Effect, Color Correction, Hue, Saturation, Lightness. Decrease saturation. And there we have it. Essentially, that is our face replacement. Now, the background's not very good, so I'll go Layer, New, Solid, and make a white background, and place it at the back. So there we have it. Effectively, we've finished the motion capture. Let's have a look at what we've created.
This is a sample file for AE Touch's tutorial on how to do facial motion capture within After Effects.
So, literally, the sky is the limit on what you can do with this. The creativity it provides for things like short films. I mean, where before perhaps you wouldn't be able to do an alien speaking, now you can. Right, let's have some fun. Included with the tutorial was a file called Rockface. Let's bring that into After Effects, and we'll go to the composition where we applied the puppet pin stuff and drop it inside there. Now let's leave the male average visible for now, but turn down the opacity of this new rock layer. And what we're going to do is simply line it up with the face. So this will line it up with our other composition. That's a little bit too big, I think. Still a little large. So that looks about right. Let's have a look at what it looks like. Let's turn off the other one. Into some file. Let's see what that looks like.
This is a sample file for AE Touch's tutorial on how to do facial motion capture within After Effects.
That looks good to me. Right, so as you can see, the background moves about, so let's solve that first. Right, we'll click the pen tool and let's make a mask around our face. Let's make it go around the foliage so it looks like the foliage is moving with the whole thing. Press M twice to bring up the mask properties. Let's add a feather of about 4 pixels to make it nice and smooth. Right, let's disable all this. So we're left with just the face. And we'll also disable the color curves and exposure adjustments that we initially made for the face. Right, let's go and get the unaltered rock face and bring it into this composition and make it larger. This is basically just the background. Of course, it's not going to be perfect because we there we go. That should do nicely.
This is a sample file for AE Touch's tutorial on how to do facial motion capture within After Effects.
So there we have it. Right, now I'm going to briefly show you how to do character animation, as I said at the beginning of the tutorial. Right, when you animate a character, what you want to do is make sure that you have elements of the character that you want to animate in different layers. For example, here I've got the chin and the eyebrow separate from the face. And what you want to do basically is choose what parts you want to animate. So say if I wanted to animate the chin, I would place a dot. I'd film myself sideways for starters with this particular character, and I would place a dot somewhere on my near the back of my jaw and on the tip of my chin. And with the dialogue, if I wasn't recording it there and then, I would mime it and emphasize the movements so it's really amplified. So I'll just give you an example of how it should look. So this dot will have been locked onto the back of my jaw where it will move very little, and this will be a dot on the very tip of my jaw where it should move quite a lot. So you'd get quite a mechanical hinge-like effect. So it shouldn't bend much if you've gotten the perspective right. So it should open like and close like that, and this is a really good way of animating things quite quickly. The same goes with the eyebrows. If I place the puppet pin stuff on there, all I'd need is 2 dots for one eyebrow, seeing as only one eyebrow is at the moment is in this composition, and it would move according to my movements. And for the face, I'd probably anchor it to, say, my nose and just below my eyes, so it wouldn't seem too dead still compared to the jaw and the eyebrows. And you can quite easily come up with results like this. So that's briefly covered character animation. Right, that's the end of this tutorial. I hope that you have learnt something today. Go out there and use this effect creatively. I'm Matthew Perks, and you've been watching aetutsplus.com.